Hello, everybody. This episode of the Lewis Sabin video podcast is brought to you, of course, because of two fantastic companies. Sorry, I had to adjust my laptop there for a second. The first one, as always, is the Joe Rogan Experience Podcast. The JRE is available on iTunes and Ustream. He's a very funny man. He has great guests on. I just listened to one last night. It was him with Duncan Trussell, which is always fantastic to listen to. Please listen to him. He is the reason we started this at all. And, just huge thanks out to him. Another huge company I would love to thank is Zions. It's the only energy drink I drink. I am not sponsored by either of these companies. I'm just a really big fan. Zions is the only energy drink I drink. All the other energy drinks, they have that taste. It does not taste good. They're full of sugar and just crap. Zions does not have that terrible taste. They taste fruity and delicious. This one is, you guys are going to be very familiar with this. This is a raspberry lemonade one. I thought I had a blue palm in the fridge, but I don't. Need to go get another one. Zions, you don't have the crash. You don't get the jitters. Sugar-free, 0 calories. It is delicious. Please drink it. Alright. So today we're going to be covering a little bit of UFC news, a little bit of NFL, a little bit of NHL. You know how I do this. Let's crack this baby open. First, in NFL news, Dez Bryant and Demaryius Thomas both signed $70 million deal. I believe that's what I read. That is insane. There is, and Jerry Jones said this, there is no Dez rule in his new contract. So I guess that means I assume they're talking about his catch that he didn't make. But, whatever. I think these guys are getting paid way too much. Not in the case of Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas, I think, deserves it. Dez Bryant, you can find somebody better than him, but they won't. I really don't like the deal with either of these teams, only because of the money. I think it's ridiculous that you guys wouldn't. Well, okay, I sure phrase. Demaryius, I hadn't heard a peep from. I assume his deal is actually what they were trying to restructure and get to. Now, Dez Bryant has done nothing but complain. And he said, how did he word it? It was very stressful or something along those lines before I got to my $70 million deal. I see. Or it was hard work. That's what he said. It was hard work. What hard work? You didn't show up to minicamp. You didn't show up to practice. All you've done is talk shit about your team and complain about how they're not giving me my big money contract. And it's kind of ridiculous that that's all you did. All you did was complain. You didn't do what Julio Jones is doing, which is shut the fuck up and actually attend practice, attend minicamp, even though you're in a contract year, and hope that they give you big money based on this crazy thing called effort. I don't get it. Contract talks between Russell Wilson and the Seahawks set to end at start of minicamp. Or start of camp. Sorry, not minicamp. I like Russell Wilson a lot. I think the Seahawks really do need him. However, I understand their problem right now. They're going to have a little money trouble because they're still trying to re-sign a lot of the big stars that they have on their team that they absolutely 100% need. One of those is Russell Wilson. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to reach a deal. They may have to franchise tag him. Still, I do believe Russell is worth the money they're going to pay him. A lot of people say he's not because, he's only been in the league for, I believe this is his 4th year now. He's led you to one playoff berth where they lost, a Super Bowl win, and a Super Bowl loss. Now, a lot of people's argument is, well, he lost the last Super Bowl, so he's really not not worth that kind of money. My argument to that would be, well, yeah, he lost the Super Bowl, but he got you there. He's helped you win games that you would have normally lost. So I think you keep Wilson. I really do hope that they give him a new contract. If not, there's plenty of teams that'll take him. The Steelers and Cameron Hayward sign a 6-year, $59.25 million contract. I guess that means Hayward's going to be there until he retires. I like this deal. The Steelers really do need to work on everything. Their offense is okay. Their defense is really suffering. So the fact that you can get a big star like Cameron Hayward to re-sign with you for 6 more years is a really big deal. Very happy to hear about that. Reggie Wayne says he wants to play 1 more year. So the Colts hopefully will get to re-sign him. I like Reggie Wayne. I've always had a soft spot for Reggie Wayne. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Great receiver. I really hope he gets his 1 more year with the Colts. Big question right now is, will the Broncos be able to re-sign Von Miller in 2016? They just shelled out a big contract to Demaryius Thomas. So the big question is now, will they be able to keep Von Miller at all because they won't have enough money? I think they'll be able to find some money to be able to get rid of some guys. I hate to say this, but I think Peyton's near the end of his rope. So let's say he leaves. There's $5-6 million right there. You could re-sign him for at least a year, maybe 2 if you find, again, a little more cap space somewhere else. I think to be able to get a deal done with Von Miller, I don't think it'll be a long-term deal, but I think to be able to sign him at least through the 2016 season. Terrell Owens said that the Hall of Fame does not mean that much to him. I have to agree with him. He had a hell of a career. He knows that he's that caliber. The voters is where they keep thinking he's going to have problems. And, I think he deserves to be in the Hall. Terrell Owens is a hell of a receiver. Great guy. Go ahead and send him. Send T.O. to the Hall. Longtime Pats offensive lineman Conley retires. And Gronkowski gets $17.2 million deal. Okay, so you lose a pretty big offensive lineman in Dan Conley. I think they're going to have to find someone to replace him in free agency because obviously the draft is over. But I don't know who they have backing him up at the moment. Maybe he's ready to step up. It depends. I don't know much about the Patriots roster. But hopefully they will be able to find some kind of replacement there, and that's not going to be a giant hole because right now for the first, I think it's 4 games, they're going to be without Tom. I think it's 4. They're going to have, what's the kid's name? Playing. They got him last year. Anyway, and they definitely are going to need offensive line help because his passing, from what I understand, he's struggling a little bit in camp. So, hopefully they end up getting somebody in that spot. I'm not sure who they had backing him up, so I'll have to think about that. Gronkowski, like I said, gets $17.2 million deal. Or Gostkowski, sorry, I read that wrong. I'm going to say my Gronk didn't need a new deal, I didn't think. That's their kicker. Good. Gostkowski's a hell of a kicker. You definitely need help with that. All 3 Ohio State quarterbacks are selected to Walter Camp Award watch list. That actually is kind of a big deal because the big question right now is who's going to start. As we learned last year, all 3 of those kids can start. Braxton is staying. They finally did confirm that. He is going to stay. Sorry, I'm opening something real quick. I got to tell you guys. With Ohio State, that's a huge deal. They definitely needed the help that Braxton can bring. Also, it's Braxton Miller. He's got a lot of intangibles that you just can't beat. Not to say that Barrett didn't do a great job. He did. So did Cardell Jones. But Braxton's a little more athletic, I think, than Barrett. I think his arm strength's just a little bit better. But, If Braxton's still there, awesome. He'll be able to help you win games. But also, he's even a bigger factor on the practice field. Because think of what he can teach Cardell. Think of what he can teach JT. He can teach them how to be more accurate, how to put more power behind that pass, be able to move in and out of the pocket like he does. So hopefully he'll be able to teach them that if he doesn't start. I'm assuming he will, but they did say there is competition at practice. I am yet to hear who they will name as the starter. Also on the watch lists, the Doak Walker 2015 watch list awarded top running back in college ball. On that list is my boy, Terrain Folston from Notre Dame. He is on the watch list for this year. He's a hell of a running back. I really hope that he has a fantastic year. This is actually all off Notre Dame's web. The part that I'm going to read about Notre Dame is all off of their website. Look, my uncle commented on that. Sorry, I had to like his comment. This is all off Notre Dame's Facebook page that I'm going to be reading. All the guys that are keeping an eye on for the watch lists. For 2015 Blintkoff watch list, awarded the top wide receiver in college football. On that watch list is Will Fuller, wide receiver. He's fantastic. He's got great hands, good speed. We're keeping an eye on him for next year. Bernie, will you settle down? Sorry, my dog wants out. Get back in a second. Hey, you want to go outside? Here. Sorry. For the 2015 Butkus Watch List Award, awarded to the top linebacker in college football. On that list is Niles Morgan and Jalen Smith, a sophomore and a junior. Both of those linebackers are fantastic. I really hope they do a great job next year. Of course, I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, so of course I want them to do well. But I really think that people don't expect them to be standout players, and they're going to be because they are that good. A lot of people are saying, Notre Dame's not going to have that great of a season and yada yada. I don't think they know much about Notre Dame then, because if you look at last year, the biggest problem we had was Everett wouldn't stop turning the fucking ball over. If he didn't do that, we'd have won so many games. Now we have Malik Zaire. Everett's gone, and I think Zaire's going to be able to control that ball a lot better. And he's a much better athlete, I think, than Golston because he's much faster. He's the same height but a little heavier, but that extra weight is actually all muscle. He's just a big kid, and I really hope he does a fantastic job. I'm behind you. I liked him ahead of time. I knew that was going to be our replacement for Golston. I knew that a couple years ago and said, this kid, you got to keep an eye out for him. And in the LSU game, he proved me right. This kid is fantastic. The 2015 Thorpe watch list awarded the best defensive back in college football. On that watch list is free safety Max Redfield. Another great safety coming out of Notre Dame. Should do fantastic. Sorry, the names are ahead of it. Named the 2015 Nagurski watch list awarded the best defensive player in college football. On the watch list, Jalen Smith, Joe Schmidt, Sheldon Day, and Kavari Russell. Jalen Smith is a linebacker, Joe Schmidt is a linebacker, Sheldon Day is a defensive lineman, he's a defensive end, and Kavari Russell is a corner. All four of those guys should have stellar seasons. Our defense is looking fantastic. For the Outlander Trophy, Best Interior Lineman in College Football. On the watch list, Nick Martin, Zach Martin's brother. Zach Martin, of course, now plays for the Dallas Cowgirls. Nick Martin is a center. Sheldon Day, as I said, defensive end. And Ronnie Staley. That kid is fantastic also. He's a very good tackle. They've all been named to the Outlander Watch List Award for Best Interior Lineman in college football. This team is stacked. We got some kids that are doing fantastic. I think there's one more. The Remington Watch List, awarded to the best center in college football. On the watch list this year, Nick Martin, center for the University of Notre Dame. The kid is very, very good. Oh, nope, I was wrong. There's another one. 2015 Bednarik Award, Defensive Player of the Year. On that list is Sheldon, Jalen, and Kavari. I don't know if I read that one before or not. I'm going down the list. So, woohoo! There he is! Named the 2015 Maxwell Watch List Award to the College Player of the Year. On the watch list, quarterback Malik Zaire. That is beautiful to see that he played one game last year. He started one game, and he's already on the best Player of the Year award watch list to keep an eye out for. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful to see. Ah, man. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye out for Notre Dame next year. I mean, I got them going to the national championship game. Of course, then again, I kind of have them doing that every year. So, whatever. In NHL news, Detroit Red Wings have signed center. Damn it, now I can't remember his name. He played for the Blackhawks last year. Brad Richards. We've also got Green at defense, which is a big pickup for us. Very excited to see what he can do. The Blackhawks lost Sharp, Richards. Hang on, I gotta look it up. There we go. Oh, no. Damn it. Anyway, they lost significant players. Probably look for them to not have as stellar of a year this year. They've still got a lot of big key players, but they've lost some pretty substantial guys. What else did I say I was going to cover today? Oh, yeah. UFC news, mixed martial arts news, if you want to be very specific. Fedor Emelianenko has come out of retirement. He said he's going to fight again. That should be interesting to see. Frank Mir knocked out. Yeah, knocked out his opponent on Wednesday night. I'm trying to think, who did he fight? Todd Duffy. He knocked out Todd Duffy. Frank Mir has got, I don't know. He goes from being, you need to retire, you've gone downhill, you can't do this anymore, to holy shit, why are you knocking people out? You know, how are you doing that? Because for a while there, he just lost. That's all he did. So congratulations, Frank. Big fan of Frank. I've been a fan of Frank for a while. I really think that he's only got a couple more fights in him regardless, because, you know, don't want to see him get seriously injured. You got a family to think of. But hell of a fight. Great job. Conor motherfucking McGregor beat Chad Mendes. He is now set to fight Jose. They have not announced it. That'll be the next person he fights. He's got the interim title. Jose pussied out, actually. It turns out, from what I read, I was gone that week. I have a new podcast. I'll upload that with this one. Conor, of course, was supposed to fight Jose, and Jose went out with a rib injury. Turns out that injury's old. It's been there for a long time. So, he pussied out. Jose actually just kind of signed his own death warrant this past week. He said he would fight Conor still, and he would be open to fighting in Ireland. And that's a terrible idea. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm happy to see Conor fight in Ireland against Jose. But Jose, I don't think you understand. There won't be any Brazilians at that fight. The Irish will buy it out. Yeah. So, I don't know. When I figure out when they're going to announce that fight, I got to make sure I buy my Irish flag, because I will bring that in me bring that with me to Buffalo Wild Wings when I watch the fight. Connor, I believe, is going to be the next Ultimate Fighter coach. He's going to be coaching against Faber, I think is what I read. I really don't want to see that fight. Not because of Faber, it's just because I don't think Connor and Faber, no, they shouldn't fight. Connor should fight Jose, then he can fight Faber. But, yeah, great fight. It's one of the best fights I've seen in a while. Of course, Bernie's going to let himself in. Hang on. Come on. Of course, Rory got his ass whooped against Robbie. Robbie whooped his ass, which I called. It's a great fight. Totally worth watching. It was one of the better cards in a while. So, yay for 189. Other than that, there's a fight coming up in 2 weeks. It'll be in Chicago. I'm still looking for tickets. I'll let you guys know if I end up going to it. If I do, you'll know. That's a hell of a card. Not much going on. I'll let you guys know if I end up getting any comedy dates. I'm going to try to find a place that I can go to. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Not a lot going on. College ball will be starting very, very soon. Preseason football, I believe, starts next month. Yeah, I don't know the exact date. Actually, hang on, let me look it up. First. I'm looking it up. Hang on, I can tell you. Preseason schedules announced. I don't care about your thing there. Okay. Thanks for giving me a date there, guys. Oh, here we go. So technically, the first game is the Hall of Fame game. It's in Canton, Ohio. It's going to be the Vikings against the Steelers. Be on 8 p.m. on NBC. It's Eastern Time, 8 p.m. That's August 9th. August 13th is when I'll say the official preseason starts. And that will be, they haven't given network dates for this one, which is a bit odd because the next week they do. Be Carolina at Buffalo, Dallas at San Diego, Denver at Seattle, Green Bay at New England, Indy at Philadelphia, Kansas City at Arizona, Miami at Chicago, New Orleans at Baltimore, the Giants at Cincinnati, the Jets at Detroit, Pittsburgh at Jacksonville, San Francisco at Houston, St. Louis at Oakland, Tampa Bay at Minnesota, Tennessee at Atlanta, and Washington at Cleveland. Of those games, the ones I am most looking forward to, most forward looking to, I almost did it again. Damn it! The games I'm looking forward to, due to draft, things like that. I'm always interested in Seattle. I'd like to see how they do against at Denver with their new picks. There's a guy from Michigan who got drafted by Seattle. I don't remember his name. I like to see what he can do if they play him. Frank Clark, I think's his name. Let's see what they can do with him. Green Bay. I'll always watch Green Bay. Green Bay's a good team. It was fun to watch. I'd like to watch Indianapolis pound the shit out of Philadelphia. That should be interesting. Miami. I'll watch the Miami game just because they've added a lot through off-season and draft. They're, of course, playing Chicago with Jay can't throw a touchdown. Or Cutler. New Orleans at Baltimore. I'd like to see what Rashad Perryman can do. He might be able to do something there with Baltimore. I don't know if he's starting, but he'll probably play, I would imagine. Giants at Cincy. Very interested to see what Shane Vereen can do in the Giants offense. So that could be worth watching. I of course, will watch the Detroit game. Other than that, I think I think my boy got drafted to Jacksonville, so I'll probably watch that. I'm not entirely sure if Koyak. I think Koyak got picked up by Jacksonville, so I'll probably watch that game, even though Pittsburgh's probably gonna smoke them. San Fran, all your guys retired against Houston. Not that interested. Neither of them have a quarterback, so St. Louis and Oakland, that could be a good game. I mean, of course, it's preseason, so it's not going to be great, but both of those teams have some pretty good depth. I'll be very interested to see Nick Foles in a St. Louis uniform. So that's pretty much it. Atlanta, I want to see what Vic Beasley will do. It's just preseason, so it's not going to be, it's not like a real game, but still worth watching. Week 2, I'll talk about that when we get closer to it, probably during the 13th to the 17th. I'll talk about it. That's the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love all of you. Anybody who's watching, I need more views, so if you can get more people to subscribe to me, that'd be awesome. I'm not asking you to do it. I'll do some work myself, of course. But you guys are the listeners. You're the watchers. You're what helps me get my shit out. So if you could spread the word, it would be fantastic. Of course, huge thank you goes out to the Joe Rogan Experience and Joe Rogan. The reason I started this, talking about him at the beginning of every podcast. Huge fan. I love you. And Science. I, of course, am not sponsored by either of these companies. However, I do like both companies. The main reason I actually picked up Science, I'll do this little story real quick, is because, well, it's delicious. And 2, they don't sponsor shit. I mean, they were sponsors of the UFC. I think they still are. Of course, Monster is now their sponsor. Which Monster tastes like shit, by the way. But, yay for that. The rest of you guys have a great afternoon, day, morning, night, whenever the fuck you watch this. Cheers. If I can find the pause button. There it is.